Mom, it's a... Minerva's owl takes flight, and only as dusk begins to fall. Hegel. Los Angeles, California, 5/10/2014, 17:06:33. Oh, no. And again? And horror revisited with both. Oh, no, not again, not again, oh, no. Again, oh no, not again, not again, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, again, not again, no. Voiceless too, except in its demand to rush, enfold, defend, if those constitute voice. Astaire's world, Astaire's baby girl, Xanther. Wobbling there, wobbling forward as Astaire, equally voiceless except in her frail determination to move. Astaire can't endure, defer, if those can ever constitute a child's voice, more like a cry, voiceless for help, soaked too in this strange late afternoon mist, pale as any page or myth, and yet as if replete surfeit, with a color technic beyond imagining, beyond strangeness. There, no, here, no, alone, no, huddling along the front walk. Where are her glasses? Where is her orange umbrella? Shasti and Freya had both cried out, "They're here!" and Astaire had thrown open the door, or almost had. Astaire knows by heart, and now memory, how she had reached for lock and knob, twisted both, tugged back, inspiring their inconsistent security device connected to nothing other than its registry of anonymized voicings. If such constitutes voice anodyne? Androidine? Alert! Door open. Aviso! Puerta abierta. Hadhari, Bob Mofto. Jiao Xin, Men Kai Je. Alerte, Porte Overte. Uyari, Copy Atchik. Ochore Turi Tun, Batse Tor. Vnim Anj, Dver Ot Rika. Achtung. Tor Goffnet. Except the heart is disturbed, memory too, because it feels almost as if Astaire never quite reached the door in the first place, gripped, let alone turned, knob and bolt, forget a tug, the announcement already, an impossible forecast, as if the door on its own had just swung open, revealing this, her darling girl calling out Mommy too, which somehow too keeps holding this mother back. Something to do with seeing freezes Astaire on the stoop. This time heat flushing deep under her arms, black wet for sure, between her legs, drying and scratching vaguely. There's a tightening from where this child was once ushered forth, and now is no more. Astaire can't breathe, or she just breathes harder. Words still beyond her, even thoughts. Tricky to apprehend. Waves on waves of ocean desert sands. At least this much is clear. Accusation, fire, giving her grip, direction. Why hasn't Anwar taken her to the ER? Her daughter's not just her daughter anymore. She's again that daughter. Oh no, not again. Poor wobbly knees, caked and bloody, still bleeding, trickles reddening, the already violent mist surrounding them all. An elbow bleeds, caked too, discolored, a technique lesson in plum. Not stopping there, both arms splotched with injury. Forget all the shreds of skin sprouting around her tiny fingernails. Both of Xanther's palms are torn up and soggy with peeling scabs. All that's still nothing compared to both forearms clawed all the way up from wrist to beneath her stained t-shirt sleeves like a suicide attempt. Where's her raincoat? Another seizure. Obvious. Go. Gather your baby up and rush her to the hospital. Obvious. Cursing Anwar for not doing so first. Obvious. And yet her child, standing now just steps from her, soaked to the bone, shivering, obviously, looks up at Astaire like the one with the problem is Astaire. Out of this wreck of hurt and harm, and forget some lifted arm, palm held out against all acts of interference, Astaire knows intimately the sign of defiance, that arising of unresolvable mystery. What Dove never ceased calling awesome in a way that always spoke of awe and the sum of. Like light dawning beyond past past and future, beyond gravity and sentence.
Out of the impossible.
Rockin'! This beauty. Xanther's confounding smile. In fact, both she and Anwar are smiling. They even seem giddy. Giddy? Anwar's still by the car, unloading something, a bag of something. Bags? Boxes as well. Tiny boxes in plastic bags, named with a name Astaire knows too well to comprehend. Astaire keeps sensing comprehension without assembling an iota of meaning, as if the collagen of sense had suddenly departed, though in response to whose beckoning? Why had Anwar also put aside his umbrella? He's soaked to the bone, he's shivering, but look at that grin. Only as he draws nearer does Astaire catch something much more in his smile, as if to say, stiffening slightly with the recognition of her attention, lips pursing, that familiar warning exchanged many, many times under entirely different circumstances. Now is not the time to say anything. Not that this will stop her. Astaire has already stopped herself. How can Xanther's much wounded face equal Xanther's still broadening grin? Back to senselessness. We left her glasses on the sidewalk, Anwar says now, by way of explanation. Sidewalk? Glasses? Just look at her chin, her cheek. Did Xanther skid along the sidewalk on her face? All the while the reason obviously at hand, bundled in hand, keeps refuting the obvious. I'll have to return to Venice, Anwar keeps on. Perhaps not worth the gas, but if they're not lost to the flood, retrieving the lenses and frame will be worth it. Her glasses? Astaire responds dumbly, finally, all she can say so far. Anwar nods. We didn't have time to go back. Astaire, though, is the one who needs glasses. And then the twins are at her back, trying to push their way outside, Astaire wheeling on their excursion with a collective fury that needs no voice. Freya and Shasti recoil at once, retreating wordless to the foyer. Mom, I'm fine, Xanther responds, which only amps Astaire's agitation, this uncanny characteristic of Xanther's, to respond to confusion with care and concern, when Astaire's the one who's supposed to be concerned and caring for Xanther. Then, as if sensing something unusual, Astaire sensing their emotion behind her, the twins creep closer again, curious to see what's holding up their sister, or what their sister is holding. Even as Astaire refuses to step aside. Mom, can I get by, please? Astaire remaining clueless, insisting on it, about what is happening right now, what her daughter has with her, and is about to bring inside, clutched so closely to her chest, as Xanther easily insisting on it slips by as if she were already inside, and Astaire's interposition had been merely an afterthought, whereupon Freya and Shasti recoil again, this time backing up all the way to the stairs, even up a few steps, where they settle curiously, still holds them fast. Not that the acutely aware Xanther notices. Does she even see Astaire? Who can only notice and still can't scream or shout, let alone just ask, "Where's her dog?" And at least this much doesn't escape Astaire. The mashup of my and your and the you too, these possessives, nor the coupling, confusion, or the disappointment robbing her entirely of all her preparation and expectation. Whatever happens next, she knows that past future is completely lost. Astaire closing the door behind them, nudging for a click, thumb twisting the deadbolt. They sold you a Chihuahua? Mom. In the course of writing her paper, Astaire had come across the Lost Horizon case out of Kissimmee, Florida. The woman in question referred to as Kay. Kay had purchased a Powerball ticket with sizable winnings at stake, over $300 million. When the numbers were announced, Kay saw that every number she had picked, according to meticulous reasons, had noted omens and signs from death dates to license plates, was a match, and her life had forever changed, and it had. Furthermore, upon presenting her winning ticket, Kay saw how every winning number she'd read off was echoed by the same winning number announced by lottery officials, and yet her ticket was declared ineligible for the prize. Kay's confusion escalated to aggression until on-hand security and finally officers of the peace were called upon to remove her for the premises. In fact, it took Kay months before she could see correctly the numbers on the losing ticket, which she still held in her possession, greasy, crumpled, in cat.
Hey
losing tag. Her desire to win, rooted in a neurotic disposition toward denial, had created a hallucination so strong that the numeric order she had summoned by both reason and whim imposed its order on every announcement, publication, confirmation pertaining to those actual numbers drawn by the lottery committee. In fact, not even one of Kay's numbers matched the winning numbers. Her victory was entirely and always only in her mind. Mom! But if Esther, still staring, only staring, was holding on to a seizure illusion, her battered, bleeding child, now it goes, her battered, bleeding child, a petulant child too, brushing Esther, and all this staring easily aside, with smiles and 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 smiles, as Xanther's repeated obvious declaration keeps pinging inaudibly, insensibly in Esther's head. Mom, it's... Yes, Mom is in there. Esther starting to hear it, if not get it, because there is an it in there, too, followed then by an article, a, or ah, preceding the delusional consonant, plus an uplifted, inquisitive note, ridiculing to, declaiming gross stupidity and worse inferior sense. Mom, it's a... Where's the dog? Esther barks hoarsely at last at Anwar. Esther, he hisses back, meaning later. I knew I should have gone with her. F later. F later. Cheeks angry hot. Angry as seconds earlier was her embarrassment over these efforts to effing K her way. Some effing Instillung effect to see an Akita, a Pomeranian, anything remotely canine, Esther materializing nothing but her own disappointment. We never even made it to the trainer. Anwar softly trying. He really is trying to soothe her, but Esther's already tearing up, the cost of making sense. She saved him. Anwar kissing her ear. No, not kissing, but whispering. Actually, Esther blubbering. Oh, honey, this isn't any good. I'm allergic. You are? Anwar pulling back for a relook, studying her really, like a distraught face can somehow reveal a history of dander. Apparently it can't. Huh, I never knew that. Can you take it back? Mom, it's a cat? Yes, Esther can finally see that. Like she can also imagine her own smile failing to banish red eyes, a too apparent rictus of rage and resentment. Look how frail. It won't live through the night. How trembling. Half the night? How white. Even through the hour? Is that what Anwar also whispered? What else? How already so still. But where is her pity? It won't live through the night. How gruesome. Invoke the 5-minute rule. How disgusting. Whatever's within the house less than 5 minutes can be exiled from the house in less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes passed long ago. How terrible. Because you weren't wrong, were you, Esther?
She sensed what only one other could know.
Mom, what's wrong? Keep smiling. Smile harder. Anything now, except I want it out of our home, out of my daughter's life, out of my life like yesterday. F the rest.